Hey everyone. So before I get into this review, just a quick side notice for tomorrow. I am going to get to the One Piece manga review tomorrow, but it's going to be a little bit later because I have to be out tomorrow for a bit. And I'm going to be moving the My Hero Academia review for pretty much Monday because by the time I'm done the One Piece review, I'm probably just going to be too tired. But yeah, guys. So an odd place to start with this episode, but one thing I immediately liked is how, after Momonosuke's declaration, it cuts to seeing the reaction of all the major players, but it's presented in that sort of manga panel style. And while I don't think this is the last time the anime has done this, I like how it is doing it more just for the sake of cutting down on filling the runtime of seeing all the individual cutscene, all the individual character reactions. It takes less time to just kind of like show them in that sort of paneled style. Of course, immediately after that, though, the episode switches into high gear by having Kaido appear before Momonosuke, which just once again serves as a dark reminder that however much resolve the Alliance has regained to face Kaido's forces, Kaido himself is still a whole different beast that you need real power to take him on. And yeah, if I'm being honest, this is the part of the episode that they did drag out a bit, as I think they cut up where Yamato coming in to save Momonosuke coming in to face Kaido didn't happen until the end of the episode, and I think in the manga it happened sooner, like almost immediately after Kaido cornered Momonosuke, which, granted, the way the anime handles Yamato's entrance is arguably more epic and suspenseful, but I think it would have just flowed a little better if it happened sooner as well. And yeah, the rest of the episode is just laying the groundwork for the fights to come, including my personal all-time favorite fight of this arc, Kid and Law versus Big Mom, which is ironic considering it like back then when I was reading the manga, it was actually my least favorite. But perspective is kind of an interesting thing, and looking back on the fights with Kaido and Big Mom in this, I think I do prefer the Big Mom fight a little bit more. And I have said and I think part of the reason for that, as to why that is, and why I think for me the Big Mom fight has kind of inched out the Kaido fight now, is that in certain respects, while I do like both fights, I think it is better than the Luffy versus Kaido fight in certain respects, because the Big Mom versus Law and Kid fight to me has got a little bit of everything. It's got stakes, it's got strategy, it gives a fair and equal amount of time to showing how powerful Big Mom truly is, while at the same time not pretty much downplaying Kid or Law's powers either, and making them pushovers. And to be fair, the Luffy versus Kaido fight did kind of do this too, but I feel like among the fights against the Emperors, I feel this fight, the one against Big Mom, had a better understanding of narrative pacing and progression, and what makes those things work in One Piece. Whereas with Luffy versus Kaido, there were arguably a few narrative lulls. A lot of narrative lulls that were placed in between the pacing and progression of the fight, to say the least. And I still do like both fights, but when I actually took a step back and looked at the fights a little more critically, I realized that while both suffered from pacing issues, one did feel more consistent in how it played out compared to the other. Plus, in general, I think there's just an extra level of fun in seeing Law and Kid banter off each other, during this fight, as you'll kind of see. There's just a lot, I think, to enjoy about the Kid and Law dynamic during this fight. With that said, this is also kind of an episode where, on one hand, I'm actually surprised the episode already showed Luffy getting rescued by the Heart Pirates, as I was almost certain Toei that would take forever, and that Toei we're gonna pad out that part was gonna pad out Luffy drowning for a longer period of time. But I imagine they will still delay delay Luffy waking up for a bit longer. But I imagine I do imagine that and the Fire Festival are gonna be the two things that are gonna be the most that are gonna be focused on the most as the way to pad out an episode. For a good majority of the rest of this arc anyway. Where, granted, I will take the Fire Festival, padding of the Fire Festival over padding of Luffy waking up in some respects, but just for how there's that interesting contrast with such a cheery festival going on despite the ominous shadow of death in the form of Onigashima about to rain down upon them. So, yeah, in that respect, I think if you were to ask me as to which I would prefer in terms of that, I think in terms of which I would prefer more padding of, I would prefer more padding, I guess, of the festival than I would of Luffy unconscious, because I think that's the part where, yeah, I think both are in some ways going to serve that purpose, but I'm imagining right now that the Luffy stuff is going to be even more, a little bit more painful, honestly, because I remember it took, there were definitely a couple steps that were taken before Luffy actually woke up, and we've only really crossed the first hurdle with that one, so to speak. Of course, with all that being said, let's talk about the whole Zeus becoming the climate attack situation, because, again, I remember, I said this before, but I remember kind of hating this in the manga, and in the anime, as I predicted, my thoughts on this are a little more complicated. Because while I don't hate the idea of Zeus becoming the climate attack, I think I generally do still like it better when he was actually trapped inside the climate attack rather than the actual climate attack itself, because for me personally, Zeus just kind of worked better for me when he was a mechanic of Nami's fighting style, whereas having him as the actual weapon, there's an aspect to it where, despite knowing it does work because the mechanics are souls in One Piece, the actual execution of it just feels a little goofy. It's one of those things where it's one of those things where just seeing Zeus's head as the climate attacked, it just, for some reason, it's just, I can't take it seriously for some reason. It's just too weird, too goofy, even for One Piece, it just feels too out there. I can't describe it. It doesn't work for me. The other thing to talk about though is, during the episode, we cut to Cypher Pole Aegis Zero during this episode as well, where we firmly established that, yes, the numbers among the rebellion have increased, including the defectors who went against Queen, and within that scene, we get the first real glimpse that things are not only going the way CP0 planned, but in some ways that you can see how things are starting to fall apart for the Animal Kingdom pirates as well, which is something that's going to come more and more into play, pretty much now that we're at this point in the story. And even though it isn't entirely because of her, I like how it does show that everyone has seriously underestimated just how important Tama was to turning the tide in this whole situation, along with Momonosuke. If Tama hadn't started actually turning the pleasures and turning the gifters to the side of the rebellion, I don't think things would work out the way they are now. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Push the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share it around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime signing off. Later, everyone.